Cincinnati has never started 10-0, but the Bearcats will achieve that with a win Friday night at home against West Virginia. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. Welcome to the College Football Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizer. CBS Sports' Spencer Tillman joins me, as he does every week, to break this down. And, you know, Spence, when you talk about Cincinnati, the story this week is at the quarterback, because Brian Kelly said Monday, when Tony Pike was healthy, he'd be the starter. Tuesday, he says Zach Collaros is going to get the starting job this week, but Tony Pike's going to play. With the way that this offense has been rolling, would you mess with it?
No, I wouldn't mess with it. I think he's making the right call. I mean, again, I don't think by having Tony Pike just kind of peek in and get in the game a little bit and test that forearm is not a problem. I think Zach Collaros came into this week, obviously with the stellar performance, record-setting performance last week, and it wasn't a fluke. I mean, he preceded that with a near 300-yard performance passing against Syracuse. No interceptions, 4 touchdown passes. So this is no isolated incident of performance that's off the charts. This guy has demonstrated himself over time, and you don't want to disrupt that. I think Brian Kelly's right on chart here.
Yeah, the offense a record 711 yards last week against UConn. Having said that, the defense gave up 45 points, Spence, and this has been a defense that pretty much this year has been fairly stout. How big of a concern is that?
Well, it's a big concern, again, because that's part of what this BCS is all about. It's about showing what you do best, and defense is not one of the things they do best, and it's exploiting them from that standpoint. This is a beauty pageant. They've got to put their best football foot forward, and to do that, you cannot do the types of things they did like last week against UConn. I mean, UConn totally controlled the line of scrimmage in the second half. They had a 20-point lead going in at halftime, and then that totally disappeared. People at home that are looking, evaluating this kind of stuff, like me, I'm going to evaluate that and say, you know what, this is not a total team and not a complete team, one that'll play for 60 minutes. They got a little bit excited, wasn't able to run with a full cup of success, only for a half, and then they flopped in the second half. So you got to know that this is a long-term deal, this BCS run that they're trying to make.
But they still won, and that means they're still one of the 6 undefeateds heading into this weekend. Now you look at West Virginia on the other side, Spence, because the Mountaineers are coming into this ball game after scoring just 17 points against Louisville, and it's not a good Louisville team either. So they won too, but it was a disappointing performance as well. What's got to go right here for West Virginia?
Well, West Virginia's got to do a couple of things. First of all, they've got to remain healthy. Obviously, last week's win was not an impressive win. Again, they're in that same contest that Cincinnati and all those other teams that are kind of flying, not necessarily under the radar, but don't have the cachet of some of those marquee franchise teams and institutions that historically could slip back one week and then only catapult up to the 4 with another stellar performance. Cincinnati and the West Virginians out there are still on that upward trajectory. And it's like buying something. You know, it takes at least 7, 8 positive exposures of good stuff before you can convince people to buy what you're selling them. And that's what West Virginia's got to do. They've got to have put-out victories. They can't have these skin-by-the-teeth decisions.
Yeah, let's not forget, West Virginia 2 years ago was a win against Pittsburgh away from playing for the national title, and they couldn't get it. This year they're 6-2 heading into this ball game. Last year they held Cincinnati to 260 yards of offense. They still lost by 3 points. Can that defense come up with another performance like that and maybe pull the upset there at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati?
No, I don't think it'll happen. Cincinnati's offense is not turning the ball over. Coming into last week, Jason, they were only team in the nation that had not lost a fumble. I mean, that means they're taking care of the football and putting up those gaudy numbers that you just mentioned, a record 711 last week. That is simply off the charts and outstanding. I look for Brian Kelly's machine to continue to roll.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out Friday night. Spencer Tillman, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
All right, Jason, we'll see you, buddy.
All right, folks, and for more on this game, stay right here with CBSSports.com. That'll do it for the College Football Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizers, the meaty good man snack. For Spencer T, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.